Hello, 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 San Antonio. I'm Christopher Herring, the Executive Director of Global Chamber San Antonio. I'm here today celebrating International Women's Day, and we have quite an opportunity today to be able to connect with you. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the lineup of women who we've been able to connect with, interview as a part of our day today. I'm joined with our board chairwoman, Monica, who has been just great sticking in there with me today and with the chamber to really showcase some of our leaders. And so here's the slide. Okay, so Global Chamber San Antonio celebrated our 5th year anniversary last year. And as we move into this year, we have decided that we were going to honor immigrant women in San Antonio who are part of Global Chamber San Antonio that have very unique stories to their businesses, their professions, and to some of their benevolent work in the community. We started out today with an interview with Yasmin, who really talked about her journey as a business owner, and then also her ability to lead a rally across San Antonio under Woman Life Freedom in honor of those women in Iran that had protested there. And so she gave us a great introduction this morning. We then followed up with Lily Gindy and Romette Metz, who talked about their journeys supporting San Antonio and representing their places of origin. And then we just interviewed Dr. Patience Miller, OBGYN, who took the time to be able to share with us about her career in healthcare and how she really just, she gives and gives. And so she gave us her testimony and her story. And Nora is a realtor. She's actually a global realtor, and she'll be joined with Dominique Liu a little bit later in this broadcast. And then after, we still have a very powerful interview to do with Girl Power Strong CEO Cheryl Cherry, and we're looking forward to learning more about how she's connecting girls to becoming women. This is Women's History Month. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Emily Meadows, who is one of our young global leaders. Emily went to Arlington, Texas, and she secured the Miss Teen Texas International, representing the city of San Antonio. She has quite a story, and we'll be able to receive her later in the month of March. And if you have anything in which you want to learn more about Global Chamber, you can go to our website at globalchamber.org and look at the events page. So thank you for entertaining me as I went through all of that. Monica, I'm going to let you start out our interview today. And I sincerely thank all of our watchers right now on Facebook as we're live streaming. And then also we'll have a recorded version up on YouTube for those who did not catch this interview today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So yes, I always love hearing stories, right, about like how we came here, like how San Antonio actually connected us. So Nora, thank you so much for being here, for taking your time today. I know you are just currently in Mexico City right now, so we're just connecting internationally, and that's actually where it all started. Well, it all started in Mexico. So would you like to share a little bit about what brought you to San Antonio and about your background?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Chris and Monica, for giving me a little bit of space here and sharing my story, which to me is interesting. And yeah, so I was born and raised, as I was telling you, I was born and raised in Mexico City, really. My father was from a small town called Iguala Guerrero. And he had a tragic accident over there when I was 5 years old. We are four brothers, well, three brothers and myself. And then we moved to Mexico City. Here in Mexico, well, my mom remarried a widow, and he had 3 kids, boys. So we were a total of seven kids. I say that because I was raised in a very traditional, strict environment with all these men around me protecting, protecting, and my mom was very protective of, like, of course, Mexican woman, traditional. So I got married, and I always wanted to travel somewhere. I studied French when I was young, and I got a scholarship to go to La Sorbonne in Paris, and my mom didn't let me go. And then I studied fashion design, and the plans were like I was supposed to go to Italy to, do more education there, and I couldn't go. And the story went that way. Then, well, I get married. I moved to Querétaro, and we got together with some friends, and they were talking about moving to San Antonio for 1 year. So the kids could improve the English, as Mexicans, most of us, we encourage our kids to be bilingual. Most of us go to private schools where there is 2 languages, and the most important language, of course, is English. So we encourage our kids, or we take our kids to bilingual schools. So, okay, the idea was, let's move to San Antonio, and so the kids can improve their English, right? It was for 1 year. Back then I owned a business here in Querétaro. I used to make and have a distribution in the country for resin figurines. And I sold the business for different reasons, and we moved to San Antonio. The idea was to stay there 1 year and come back. However, when I was in Querétaro, I got diagnosed with CREST syndrome and Raynaud's, and I got under a bad treatment. A tough treatment to improve my health. And when I arrived to Querétaro, to San Antonio, I started feeling better and better and better. And I think it was probably my desire to be there, and the peace that I felt. I think all these diseases or the stress is a trigger big time. And I decided to stay against my previous husband, against my mother, because of course my mother, as I said, a traditional mom, very strict, and the girl was leaving, right? So she never let me go anywhere, so she couldn't leave. So, but I thought, if my health is fine, everyone in my family will be fine. So I decided to stay in San Antonio. The first year we were like basically tourists. And at the end of that year, I started processing my first visa. That was an investor visa that I could get with the help of a friend. So I used to, after trying so many things, because I sold air filters for lawn movers, ear tags for cattle, arts and crafts. I tried everything. And then that's how I got my first visa, an E1 visa, just by myself and my kids. Do you want me to continue or should I stop there?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're just really curious about your, business story. So how did you start here in San Antonio?
So after that, what I'm saying, I started with that E1 visa. Then my ex-husband, at the end, decided to be involved, and we got an L1 visa. And then from that, he got an H1B visa. And then I got a divorce and I got a TN visa. So I went through all the kind of visas that you can imagine. Lots of money spent with attorneys and visa processes. Very tough, very stressful, because you know that every visa is like, I may not stay. What happens if? Then what should I do? And my kids arrived here when my daughter Regina was 4, my son was 11. So, I mean, it was many years. I mean, I've been here 21 years. I'm going to be this July.
Congratulations.
And then, so I was doing the ear tax for cattle, and then I got into real estate. Why real estate? Because I wanted something where I didn't have to invest money, because I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money, so I needed something where I needed to invest in myself, and something where I could help myself with my people in Mexico, right? And that's how I started real estate, and I've been there since then.
And so with real estate, you've done quite well. I mean, when I look at your real estate credentials, you have some designations that most realtors don't have. And you're very modest. You are also the chair of the global chair in the San Antonio real estate organization. And so tell us more about what that means, because right now you're in Mexico, somewhere in Mexico.
Yes, Mexico City.
Yeah, and tell us why you're there. So all that.
Yes, I am chair this year. You know what? When I moved to Dallas a couple of years, and when I was in Dallas, I got involved in the global committee that I didn't know it existed. I mean, I think it was very small in San Antonio. And when I went back to San Antonio, I got involved in the global committee in San Antonio. Yeah, this year I was appointed as chair in the global committee, which I am absolutely excited about it. And I am also in the Global and Alliance Committee at NAR, National Association of Realtors, and of course with you in the Global Chamber. So, and I'm here in Mexico because I am meeting with I met actually already with the president of AMPI, the Asociación Mexicana de Inmobiliarios Profesionales. It's like NAR in the United States. And so we're planning a trade mission along with the Global Chamber, AMPI, and at least for now, the SABOR, which is San Antonio Board of Realtors. So we're planning, I think it's gonna be terrific, because I talked to the president of AMPI and I'm overexcited. They want to come to San Antonio also and see what San Antonio has to offer to, to Mexican nationals. So I'm here, to see my family, of course, but a very important part is that. Yes.
You know, as a realtor, you have one responsibility that's so important. You help people to make decisions on where they're going to spend a lot of their money. Lots of money, right? I mean, real estate is probably like the #1 investment that a person makes in their life. So just talk to us about what is that responsibility like of carrying the American dream of home ownership?
Well, the American dream can become an American nightmare if you don't do things right, really. More than sell houses, I mean, of course, I love to sell houses, that's my job. But I guide the people that buy real estate. I introduce them with all the parties involved in a transaction, attorneys, CPAs, I mean, inspectors, of course. So it's a guidance. It's I'm a more a consultant, guide them where to invest, how to invest, and if they want to open a business, I also try to help them on any way I can. As a business owner, because I consider myself a business owner, and I was a business owner before in Mexico, I am very passionate about the business area. So if they want to open a business, I almost would like to be involved in their business, you know, like, and tell them what to do. You know, you need to do a business plan. You need to go here, please check, don't spend money, you know, without just focusing and creating really a plan of what you want to do and all the process. Really, they need to learn the American way. If you go to America, you need to do things as Americans, not as they do it in their countries. Same thing as real estate. I mean, what's the goods and bads of owning a property in the United States? What are the, you know, the challenges? What happens when they die? What happens when inheritance? What happens if they sell? You know, if the taxes, you know, all that kind of thing. So it's a whole consultation and help. Well, many of us wish someone was there to help us when we just moved.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Chairman, yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on, you know, on your background. So you shared that you were from, you know, Mexico, and then, you know, you also live in Texas, right, in San Antonio. You travel back and forth, and how did, you know, how were you able to use your, you know, your different background? Can you probably, you know, relate to your clients as well? Have you been able to, you know, utilize this experience, you know, growing up? Yes, in your business, in your, you know, business journey. So you do share background from Mexico. You've been living here in San Antonio. So has it been helpful to you and your businesses?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not only bilingual, I'm bicultural. And I think many of us are, like, you know, the ladies that you have interviewed, we are bicultural or more cultures, right? It's just not, it's not just a language, it's the culture. It's like, you know, how to treat each person.
Sure. So do you feel like maybe, you know, crossing those, you know, multicultural or, you know, different cultural barriers, you know, has it been a challenge for you, or has it been easier because of your background?
It's always a challenge. It's always a challenge. I think for any of us immigrants, it's always a challenge. There's been some tougher times. But those challenges are good because it makes you better, you know, it makes you tougher. It makes you more valuable because, I mean, you can have, yeah, it is. Languages, I mean, I still struggle. I still struggle. And sometimes I don't feel as secure. Everything is harder. You know, if I study something, I just had some training. I was trying to do, well, not trying. I mean, I did some part of the commercial certification. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so difficult. I mean, I still travel a lot because, there's some things that are not your area. You want to do more, but it's very difficult. The language, I think, at least to me, it's always has always been a barrier, really. It's challenging. It's very challenging all the time.
For sure, it's giving you more opportunities, right, to connect in different languages, different cultures, and really, understand others. So yeah, just overcoming the challenges and continue learning. So that's what I see that you've been doing. So
yeah, well, trying to learn.
So Nora, who are some women that you admire, that you've looked up to? I mean, this is International Women's Day, so tell us more about this day, and when you reflect on it, who have you patterned some of your life around?
I thought about that, and I would say my mom, of course, because I still don't know how she did it. Raised all these kids and give us a good education and she made us good people. And my daughter, she's amazing. Yes. Yeah, I think those are my models in a woman.
So what are some of your goals as we look at 2023 that you're trying to professionally accomplish and personally accomplish?
Oh, okay. So a lot, actually.
Right.
As I said, I have this trade mission that I'm absolutely excited about. I really want to do a difference. When my kids were little, I was a Mexican Latina raised with a traditional mom. My kids were always the priority. I had to work, but because I had to work. If not, I would have stayed home raising my kids. But I always give space for my kids. So right now that I'm by myself, really, it's my time to do something different, something important, and go, an extra mile. So yes, for now, this year, I think if I can accomplish that trade mission, that would be perfect for me. And, one step at a time and one thing at a time. Yes. But that would be something great. And I think that would involve all the, the global chamber, that would involve AMPI, that would involve my career. And that would position me in another position. So that would be at least something very important.
And I thank you. I thank you because when I saw the opportunity to partner with you, and I saw your career and you're modest person in terms of your success in real estate, because you've sold a lot of homes and you've enabled people to achieve something that they probably doubted that they could ever achieve with home ownership. And so I want to thank you because you are right now just doing site survey for this trade mission while you're in Mexico. And the Global Chamber also told you up front that we wanted to partner with you in the trade mission. So your accomplishment is going to be our accomplishment. And so thank you for just putting in the hard work to help us achieve a dream of establishing our very first trade mission success. And it probably will be in Mexico, since you're really putting in the time and the effort. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. And thank you, Monica. And it was, I'm very honored. And yeah, trying just to be better every day.
thank you. And we really can't wait to to hear the updates about the upcoming trade mission. So, and I wouldn't like to miss the opportunity to also ask you about the travel tips, because I know we've asked every single lady today to give some recommendations where to go, where is your favorite place. So I don't want to skip that for sure. So would you like to share?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Go?
Well, of course, what can I say? Mexico is the most beautiful, no, well, there are beautiful countries in the world, but Mexico, it's a great country, great culture, absolutely great food, great service, great people, no matter what. The people in Mexico is the best. You know, you have the most humble, the most, I don't know, I'm in love with my country. I'm not like a super trouble woman, but my daughter lives in Italy. And of course, Italy is one of my favorite countries too. But Mexico, it's amazing. Yes, not the border, a little bit.
For sure.
Mexico City, Querétaro, San Miguel, Oaxaca, Puebla, San Luis Potosí. I mean, of course, the Riviera Maya, but everybody knows the Riviera Maya, because the Riviera Maya is not Mexico. Mexico is the rest of the country, you know? We have so much to offer, really. It's a big country.
Well, thank you again. And we're going to now shift over to Dominique Liu. Dominique Liu, and you can unmute Dominique. She happened to be our past board chair, and I'm very glad that she is on. When I met Dominique so many years ago, she was on a journey of establishing her own company, and she's going to tell you more about that in our interview. But yeah, she was our board chair of Global Chamber San Antonio, and she has been really empowering people to grow their assets in the market. She started with her developing her own company after having gone through other experiences in the market. And then she's also just been so giving of her time. I remember we served together on a financial literacy program for Dream Week. And then within the Filipino American community where Dominique is from, she is a standout leader and one of the top outstanding women leaders that were recognized in Texas. And so she has her own story. I'm going to now turn it over to Monica to ask the first question, or I can ask the question. How about that? Let's not be brand new here. Dominique, tell us about your story. How did you get to San Antonio? And welcome to Global Chamber's celebration of International Women's Day.
Well, thank you so much, Chris and Monica, for putting this together. I know it means so much to a lot of women here who are business owners, who are doing it all, being moms, and at the same time. And so just really grateful for Global Chamber to be able to have that platform for us, because not many chambers out here in town actually take the time to do something like this, especially of all days today. So congratulations, Monica and Chris, for making this such a success and allowing us to speak our truth in terms of what our experiences have been. And also thanks for the great introduction. You're so kind. You didn't even have to say all that, but let me just say that I'm very grateful to Chris for opening the doors for little old me. When I moved to San Antonio, I didn't have a market. I moved here a few years ago. I was a stay-at-home mom. Didn't have a job, didn't really even know how to write a proper email, much less. And, you know, Chris and the Global Chamber, they've been so caring and really just opening their doors for everybody to have an opportunity. And so, first of all, thank you for that. Yes, I was a stay-at-home mom for most of my life, most of my adult life. 3 children. They're all still here in San Antonio with me, and worked for a financial services firm, my first job since really coming out of college. And so it was definitely a whole different world, coming from baby talk to corporate talk. It was a whole transition, college, baby talk, and then corporate talk. It was definitely a struggle for me, but from there, I started developing my market. I started getting into networking and getting to know all the movers and shakers in San Antonio and what makes San Antonio who they are. you know. And from there, you know, I was like, the thing is about the San Antonio market is it can be really specific. And when we talk about marketing, it can be a jarring approach. You know, it's that looking for your market. What is your market? Who are we targeting? Things like that. And so, really, the simplest thing that I've learned in terms of really finding your market and finding your voice is look for somebody that's like you. If you have clients, your clients are you. So that's the simplest thing that I could tell anybody. And honestly, that's how I was able to get you know, networks in town, is really attaching with these women who are in the same industry, in the financial services industry, in the commissions industry, like Nora, real estate. You know, that's a commission based business, very difficult. And really creating a little network and a little group. And so that way we could all, you know, just kind of relate the experiences that we've had, and of course the support. Went around and found a lot of chambers to be involved in as well. And finally, you know, I decided, you know, I think Global Chamber is the one for me, as you shop around for chambers in town to find your network and marketing. And really around the time that I got into Global Chamber, I started my company. I decided that why should I be told who my market is? I should have control over who I want to do business with. And really, that's the main premise of starting my company, is the ability to be independent and market yourself in the best light possible, and have control over that piece. And so we started our company right at COVID 2020.
Dominion Strategies.
Dominion Strategies was born out of COVID. And don't let anybody tell you, oh, don't start because there's a recession happening, and you know, this and that and the other, and the economy. No, you start your company when you feel like you can start your company. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And so I think that was the best decision that I made. I quit my job, only really had $1,000 to invest in my company. And so now you're gonna think, oh my gosh, like what do I do with $1,000? How do I make that stretch? Okay, file your LLC first and foremost. File your LLC. And that's what I did. So now a third of my money is gone, right? What do I do with the rest? And so you get really creative. It's just you and the network that you created, and the people that trust you, the people that love you, and you start asking them, look, this is what I'm doing, please help, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to delegate some responsibilities. And so that's where we were born. I called back some of the colleagues that I met over the years, and I said, look, I'm starting this thing, and would you like to be a part of it? You're independent. You're not captive. You own your book of business. It's yours. And so that's the idea, is on the financial services side, the independence, the accountability that comes with it. And we help everybody in our company, at least. We promote business ownership. Every one of my agents need to be business owners, and you will be treated as a business owner and should act like a business owner, because it is your brand that you were in charge of, and your family's brand, right? Because we take time out of our lives, out of our family, to invest in something like this. And so whatever we spend our time on has to make sense, and it has to count. So Global Chamber has been a big part of that journey for me, and it continues to be a big part of that journey for me. And so leadership like Monica and Chris, and opening doors for women like us, I think is just so grateful for that.
Thank you so much for that. Chairwoman Monica, what are your questions?
Yeah, thank you, Dominique. I know your story, your business story is really inspiring, and we've seen, you know, growth of Dominion Strategies over the years. So I was actually wondering about some of maybe your personal causes or challenges that you've been, you know, involved in, or, you know, participated in, that really, you know, brought you here where you are right now.
Yeah, my parents are immigrants, and we immigrated in the 90s when, and my mother, it was her. So again, to another woman that opened the door for me. she was recruited here as a nurse. And in the 90s, the contracts that they had were, we're going to recruit you. We're not going to give you benefits. We're going to pay you in dollars. But the benefit is when you complete this contract with us, we will then give visas to your families. And that was, you know, my mother didn't dream to become a nurse. This was an opportunity for her to come here to have a better life for her kid, right? And so when my mother was here, I was away from her for years. She would visit me once a year. I only saw my mom one time, once a year. And in about 3 or 4 years, she completed her contract and was able to bring my father and I over. So I appreciate that that personal struggle, because I didn't know my mother, you know, as a child, you know, when you're, you know, 3 years old, a year old, all the way to 4 years old, you don't see your mother only once a year. You know, it's difficult. And so that definitely, in retrospect, was a struggle for me. And you don't really realize that until you become an adult, because as a kid, you're just, you know, going through things. So yeah, that was a personal struggle for me as a child. And then coming here, and as Nora said, she's bicultural, right? For a 5-year-old now to be here in this country and not speak English and maybe just speak Tagalog and Spanish, right? Now I have to learn a whole new language, a whole new culture, children that don't look like me, you know, things like that, not have, you know, the support system as a family. So that was a personal struggle for me as a child, but grateful for that as well.
Well, you know what, Dominique, you have also shown yourself to be a great leader. So you established the San Antonio JCs, the Junior Chamber. You were also at the state level with the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce. You were also on the board of the San Antonio Council for International Visitors. Actually, our introduction came through Ann Wynn, great past citizen of San Antonio, who made the introduction. And so I rattled off a number of organizations that I know that you've impacted. Put them in your own words. Why did you get so involved with the community? What was the significance of really identifying yourself in the way and manner in which you did?
Right. So when you come into a city and you don't know anybody, and you don't have family and you don't have any friends, you look for those people that look like you, that are just like you. And so in my search, I ran into somebody, Mr. Sibug, who was the founder of the Filipino Chamber here in the chapter here in San Antonio. And so when you're alone, you look for those that are like you. So you're always looking for that relationship. And that's what really drove me, was how do I assimilate and be part of a community? And I think that's for a lot of us immigrants, it's so difficult, you know, to do that. But the thing is, you look for your community because they don't know that you're there unless you're out seeking them. And then from them, it just became a ripple effect. You know, you reach out this community, your culture, and then beyond that culture, like, wait a minute, now I actually get along with a lot of women on the insurance side and on the real estate side, and all these women who do commission-based business. So then I found a little culture there. So these little micro cultures, you realize, well, wait a minute, who am I? I'm a woman, I'm a mother. So then there's a book club that I'm part of. All these things, that who you are, you find that culture. And so it became a ripple effect. It takes one step to reach out, and then next thing you know, the door is open for you. And so that's what really motivated me to network, was to find that relationship, that attachment.
Yeah, you know, and I'm sorry, Monica. I was just thinking about the fact that when you were running and leading the San Antonio Junior Chamber, or the JCs, so that's an organization near and dear to my heart. I happen to be the recipient of the 10 Outstanding Young Americans Award through the JCs. And as a part of the, I guess, maybe 700 Americans who have received the award, it's always an honor to be able to give back. And so when I met you, I saw, after, you know, Ann spoke you up, that you had a lot of energy, you were ready to make a difference. And then you served as our vice president for some years until you got the opportunity to chair. So then you recently also made a decision that you wanted to do something different. So you resigned from being our board chair, and there you know, love, that's lost with that decision because you had a bigger vision. What was that vision?
So the vision was to be able to impact beyond the chamber. How do you make an impact, make a difference in somebody's life? And so for me, that next step that made sense was to make an impact from the city perspective, which, you know, as you know now, we're running as a city councilwoman for District 9 in San Antonio. And I think that's the name of the game at the end of the day, is how do we make an impact and how do we make that ripple effect go as far as we can? And so this is the next step for me as a councilwoman in District 9. And I think that it encompasses, you know, not just the people like in that district, but all the other districts, all of San Antonio's, because all the districts affect each other. I just so happen to live there, so I can't run for like District 1 or something like that. But that is the next step, is how do we make an impact beyond the box that we're living in?
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, speaking of impact, we are celebrating the Women's History Month. So I wanted to ask you about your you know, personal advice to women you know, out there, and if there is, you know, someone who impacted you so much that you would love to, you know, share their names.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, it's and I just spoke with her actually a few hours ago, would be somebody that is actually a member of Global Chamber, is Summer Brown. She is just on fire. Like when I think of her, it's just, I'm just amazed at the things that she's done. She's a veteran, she's a mother, she's a business owner. She ran for mayor of Cibolo, all of that, while still having to close business and make money. You know, it's like that to me, it's like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing in the office? Shouldn't you be in your campaign? You know, what are you doing talking to me? Like, you know, so it just amazed that, you know, off the top of my head, just because she and I have a lot of projects going on top of her being my treasurer for the campaign. It's that woman is just fantastic. She's just great all around, and she just celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday, Summer. Thank you for everything that you do. So women like that, Summer being a veteran, she put her life on the line. She was deployed to Iraq, had children. Oh my gosh, like all the things. So I would, you know, one of these days, she'll be able to tell her story. But that, you know, she's definitely somebody that I look up to. And just amazed by the work that she's done. Of course, the next person would be my mother, because imagine having your only child, your only daughter, having to leave her at age 1 to go off and work in a whole different country and not know. I mean, obviously, yeah, my dad was there and we had family, but your first and only child, you know, you had to leave behind. I think, gosh, you know, as a mother now, I don't know that I could do that. The sacrifice. So yeah, definitely my mother, and just off and Summer Brown. So if she's watching, hey girl, how are you?
So Dominique, you are a big fan of creating business and creating jobs. Talk about the impact of your work within the economic development of our city of San Antonio, and also give us some recommendations to people who are just listening from around the world. What would you tell them to do when they come to our city?
Yeah. So the first part to your question in terms of having an economic impact, I love business, right? I love people that start businesses, their ideas, and I think that needs to be fostered. And really early on in life, and especially in the world that we live in. One thing about something that I really enjoy about business is the accountability part, as weird as that sounds, but it belongs to you. It's your brand, it's your face, it's your family. And there's so much that goes into that, because your reputation counts on how your business does, to be quite honest. The way things are going now, when businesses are doing well, they want to know, oh, who's the CEO? You know, who are they? You really want to know about these people. And so the way we're set up here in our companies, again, as I said earlier, is we encourage everybody to be business owners, to file for their LLCs, have a whole business plan, have a 5-year plan, have a 10-year plan, right? What are your quarterly goals? Have we hit that? Have we not hit that, right? And if we didn't, why not? You know, and so when we, to your second point, to your question, Chris, when we foster small businesses here in San Antonio, the economy just grows, right? And on top of that, competition is good too, right? We don't want the same store here and the same store there. And then you start seeing people being more responsible, fiscally responsible with their money, because every penny counts. Why? Because it gets taxed. That's why. You worked hard for that penny, and for a portion not to be taken away, you're going to work really hard. It's your money. It's your retirement plan. It's your family's retirement plan. So you're going to work twice as hard. So I encourage everybody to have their own business, to reach out to chambers in town, just like the Global Chamber, and network beyond San Antonio, network in Texas, network all over the country. So I think if we help the small business owners more in this city, and perhaps give more funding, okay, if our city council would just vote towards that and give more funding, not $1,000, because that $1,000 isn't going to do nothing to small business owners here, for real, you know, then perhaps, you know, we will see a change of tides here in the city of San Antonio. And really just, you know, put our dollars towards our businesses, man. Like, they're paying taxes here. Why don't we help them out, you know?
Thank you. How about some recommendations for fine dining, travel recommendations? We've been asking the women from around the world, where do we take our next vacations? Where do we spend our money?
Yeah. Hey, look, you know what? I'm all about the local business owner. So do not go to a chain. Look, I love chains and all that stuff, but go to the local business owner. I'm a Filipina, so I'm saying find your local Filipino restaurants, try them out, because every one of them is different. Try them out. Fine dining. Look, again, local business owner. My definition of fine dining is local food. If I'm going to travel, I'm not going to go eat at a McDonald's or something like that. No hate on McDonald's, but I'm going to go somewhere where that restaurant is known in that town. And you know, because look, you're supporting the family, you're supporting the retirement plan, and everything. Why not? And the local economy. So in terms of traveling in town, like obviously the Riverwalk is you know, everybody talks about the Riverwalk, and it's very diverse in San Antonio. For the kiddos, it's a little bit outside of San Antonio, so you know, the natural caverns, that's pretty fun. San Antonio has some great water holes, so rivers. Everybody likes to go to a river here in San Antonio, at literally 15-20 minute drive right around the outskirts of the city. The Guadalupe River, obviously New Braunfels has some great stuff. Shout out to New Braunfels and their economy. I'm gonna be there soon, guys. But yes, watering holes are great. Always look for a local restaurant. And the food is always made with love, because it's their business.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Monica, would you like to ask the last question, or?
Sure. I just need to add to Dominique's point, because I've seen how passionate she is about the local economy, about, you know, local businesses. She's been really supporting them and promoting them. So over the years, we served on several boards or several organizations together. So I've really seen her passion for really, you know, growing San Antonio, growing the local economy, supporting small business owners, and really helping them out. So I would really like to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm very thankful that we have the chance to have two very unique women who have both talked about the importance of being great parents in terms of being mothers, but then also having the ability to know that you want to make something of your life to invest in yourself, and you both have done it through your businesses in terms of establishing the foundation for literacy, whether it's financial literacy or it's real estate literacy. I think that in both areas, they're challenged areas. We have people who have been left behind, who have not achieved the American dream, who have not had the advocacy for their business, and those are the types of things that, at the end of the day, make a difference. I chaired the City of San Antonio Small Business Advocacy, and I served on the committee for at least 9 years, almost a decade, and really just speaking up for business owners and businesses. So with Global Chamber San Antonio, this gives us a great chance to do something in which other chambers are not positioned to do, which is to advocate for international trade, business around the world, and to make connections. And so both of you, Nora and Dominique, thank you for your investment of your time, of your coin, and of the love that you have for people, because your love that you have for people shows itself in the investment of time that you give them. Mm. And with that being said, you know, reach for your dreams and push through, and know that Global Chamber is standing with you. Nora, do you have any parting comments?
No, just a big thank you to you and Monica, of course. Nice meeting you, Dominique. Hopefully we can meet in San Antonio soon.
Oh, I hope so.
And, yeah, you, as Dominique said, in my case, you opened the door to a lot of things. I'm absolutely grateful for that. And let's do the first commitment, and then we'll go from there. But I think there's a lot of things to do. There's much work to do and innovate, right? But thank you very much. Thanks for the interview. It was a pleasure.
Before we go to Dominique for closing comments, Chairwoman Monica, what I see in the makings is some form of a literacy conference that we can have, you know, for those industries like real estate, like financial services, that can get out in front of people, and especially those, and this is International Women's Day, women typically have it much harder to establish themselves in the marketplace. And so therefore, this might be a great platform for 2024, and we can put that plan into motion. But I just want to thank both for giving their time today. Dominique, I did promise that you would have a parting word.
Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you, Monica. Fantastic job at Global Chamber. The ripple effect of the impact that you've made in this event and upcoming events, I'm sure it's going to go beyond what we know. And so, you know, there's the only thing I could say, you know, is, you know, keep really just keep inspiring others. And in what you do and everything that you do, and realize that everything that we're responsible for everybody, everything that we do impacts everyone, and you just never know. So who is going to open the door for you, who is whose life you're going to change that day, and to just be aware of that. And sometimes, you know, we don't feel the appreciation, or sometimes we don't see it, or things happen throughout the day and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I have no idea why this happened to me. But then 3 chapters down the road, you're like, oh, now I get it. Now that's why I had a hard time over there, and that's why, you know, but there's always going to be people that support you, like Chris and Monica. And so grateful for the work that you guys have done, because, you know, no one else is going to do it, but and it takes time out of your day. You know, we all have families and children that we have to, you know, take care of, and having to you know, having a fixed time frame throughout the day and making that time means a lot. And
I'm going to go to Monica, but I just want to say this, you know, a lot of my waking hours of my day I spent with Dominique, and I spent with Monica, and I'm spending with Nora, just to learn what you do, and then how you've invested in the Global Chamber, how you've invested into small business, how you've invested into minority business, and the passion that you all have and the ideas you have. And also keeping me accountable as the executive director, because there's a lot that's at stake here. So I do appreciate it. And I also appreciate how you communicate at the respective times of your passion about what we need to do. And the great thing about this opportunity is that we may not always see eye to eye, but we have great communication that we can respectfully disagree and also respectfully agree and move the agenda forward for what makes our chamber, special and great. Monica, I'm going to bring up the last slide just as a recap, but please give us your parting comments.
Sure. Well, I think everything was already said, and I really can't wait to see, how we're moving forward as a chamber, but also our, board members and, our past, board members as well. I can't wait to see, Dominique's goals and, vision also. So I'm really grateful to see, what's ahead of us.
Thank you. And so our next interview will be at 5 o'clock in 1 hour. We will be talking with Cheryl Cherry, the CEO of Girl Power Strong, and that's what's up. So thank you again for your time, and thank you, ladies, again for your time. We made a mark today on International Women's Day 2023. Thank you so much.
Happy International Women's Day. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.